The old oak tree stood tall, its branches stretching out like ancient arms, embracing the night sky. The moonlight filtered through its leaves, casting a gentle glow on the forest floor below. This tree had been a silent witness to countless events over the years, standing firm through storms and sunshine alike. In the forest, it had seen many seasons, from the icy chills of winter where snow blanketed its roots, to the vibrant greens of spring, where new life blossomed all around. Summer brought warmth and the hum of insects, while autumn painted the forest in hues of gold and red. Each season left its mark on the old oak, adding to its story. In its branches lived a wise old owl. This owl, with its large, knowing eyes and feathers that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, had made the oak tree its home for many years. The owl was known throughout the forest for its wisdom and knowledge, often sought after by other creatures for advice. He knew everything about the forest, every rustle of leaves, every whisper of the wind, and every creature that called the forest home. The owl had seen generations of animals come and go, and its knowledge was vast and deep. It was said that the owl could even understand the language of the trees and the songs of the wind. One night, the owl heard a strange noise. It was a sound that was unfamiliar, something that piqued the owl's curiosity. The wise owl perked up its ears, trying to discern the source of the noise. Wise owl, what's that? The owl's eyes widened as it scanned the forest below, searching for any signs of movement. It was the sound of little feet running and little voices squeaking. The owl recognized the familiar scurrying of the forest mice, their tiny feet pattering on the forest floor. They were always up to some mischief, and tonight was no different. The mice were chattering excitedly, their high-pitched voices carrying through the night air. Wise owl, oh dear, those silly mice are going to get into trouble again. The owl sighed, knowing that the mice's antics often led them into precarious situations. With a flap of its wings, the owl decided to keep a watchful eye on them, ready to swoop down and offer guidance if needed. The night was still young, and the forest was full of mysteries waiting to unfold. The three mice were named Squeaky, Cheesy and Nibbles. They were always hungry. Tonight they smelled cheese from the farmer's house. The mice snuck inside. They found the pantry. It was full of delicious food.
Look at all the cheese.
Cheesy grabbed a big chunk of cheddar. Nibbles started nibbling on some Swiss. They were so busy eating they didn't hear the farmer's footsteps. The farmer heard the noises in his pantry. He grabbed his broom.
Get out of here, you pesky mice.
The mice were scared. They ran around in circles.
Help, help.
The wise old owl saw everything from his tree. Wise owl, those mice need my help. He flew down from his branch. The owl landed near the farmer. Wise owl, don't hurt them. I have a plan. The farmer was surprised to see a talking owl. The owl whispered his plan to the farmer. The farmer smiled.
That just might work.
The owl flew back to the pantry. He told the mice the plan. Wise owl, follow me.
The mice followed the owl out of the pantry. They were hesitant at first, their tiny feet shuffling nervously on the wooden floor. The pantry had been their home for as long as they could remember, filled with crumbs and hidden nooks. But the owl, with its wise eyes and calm demeanor, promised them something better. So, with a mix of fear and excitement, they took their first steps into the unknown.
The farmer was waiting with a basket. He had heard the commotion in the pantry and had come to investigate. Seeing the owl leading the mice, he quickly understood what was happening. The farmer had always been kind-hearted, often leaving bits of food out for the animals. He knew the mice needed a new home and he was ready to help. With a gentle smile, he held out the basket, ready to assist in their great escape.
He gently scooped up the mice and put them in the basket. Each mouse was carefully placed, ensuring they were comfortable and safe. The mice, though initially startled, soon realized the farmer meant no harm. They huddled together, feeling a sense of security they hadn't felt in a long time. The basket, lined with soft cloth, was a cozy haven for their journey ahead.
The owl led the way as the farmer carried the basket outside. The night was cool and the stars twinkled brightly in the sky. The owl, with its keen sense of direction, knew exactly where to go. The farmer followed closely, his steps steady and sure. Together, they made their way through the fields, the basket swaying gently with each step. The mice peeked out, curious about the world outside the pantry.
They walked deep into the forest. The trees towered above them, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. The forest was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, each adding to the symphony of the night. The path was winding, but the owl led with confidence, its wings occasionally fluttering to maintain balance. The farmer, though tired, pressed on, determined to find a safe haven for the mice.
Finally, they reached a field full of delicious berries. The sight was breathtaking. Bushes laden with ripe, juicy berries stretched as far as the eye could see. The air was filled with the sweet scent of the fruit, making the mice's noses twitch in delight. They had never seen so much food in one place. The field was a paradise, a place where they could live without fear of hunger.
"You can eat all the berries you want here," the farmer said. His voice was gentle, filled with kindness. He knew the mice had been through a lot, and he wanted them to feel at home. The mice looked up at him, their eyes wide with gratitude. They couldn't believe their luck. This field was more than they had ever dreamed of. It was a new beginning, a chance to start fresh.
"Just promise me you won't go back to my house," the owl said. Its voice was firm but kind. The mice nodded eagerly, understanding the importance of the promise. They had found a new home, a place where they could thrive. The owl, satisfied with their response, spread its wings and took flight, disappearing into the night. The mice watched it go, feeling a sense of peace and contentment. Their great escape had led them to a new life, filled with hope and endless possibilities.
The mice were so happy. They had never seen so many berries.
"Thank you, farmer."
Thank you, wise owl.
"You're welcome," hooted the owl. "But remember, it's not safe to go into the farmer's house. Always be careful." The mice nodded. They knew the owl was right. They had been foolish to go into the farmer's house. The mice ate all the berries they could. Their tummies were full and they were very happy. They played in the field until the sun started to set.
"It's time to go home."
But we don't have a home anymore.
The mice looked sad. "Don't worry," hooted the owl. "I know a place where you can stay." The owl took the mice to a cozy burrow under the roots of the old oak tree. The burrow was hidden well, making it a perfect sanctuary for the mice. The entrance was small, just big enough for the mice to squeeze through, but inside, it opened up into a spacious and warm haven. The walls were lined with soft moss, and the floor was covered in dried leaves, making it a comfortable place to rest. It was safe and warm. The mice felt an immediate sense of relief as they entered their new home. They had been wandering for so long, searching for a place where they could feel secure. Now, thanks to the wise owl, they had found it. The burrow was not just a shelter, it was a place where they could finally relax and feel at peace. The mice were so grateful. They had never expected to find such a wonderful home. They looked around in awe, taking in the cozy surroundings. The warmth of the burrow enveloped them, and they felt a deep sense of gratitude towards the owl. They knew that without his help, they would still be out in the cold, searching for a place to call home.
"Thank you, wise owl." The mice gathered around the owl, their eyes shining with gratitude. They knew that the owl had gone out of his way to help them, and they wanted to express their thanks. They spoke in unison, their voices filled with emotion. "We don't know what we would have done without you," one of the mice said. "You have given us a new chance at life."
You are our hero. The mice cheered, their voices echoing through the burrow. They looked up at the owl with admiration, their hearts filled with gratitude. The owl had not only given them a home, but he had also given them hope. They knew that they could face any challenge as long as they had friends like the owl by their side.
The mice were so happy to have a new home and a new friend. The owl smiled. He watched as the mice celebrated, their joy infectious. The burrow was filled with laughter and cheer, and the owl felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He had done a good deed, and it had brought happiness to others. The mice danced and sang, their spirits lifted by the kindness of the owl. He was happy to help the mice. The owl knew that he had made a difference in their lives. He had given them a place to call home, and in doing so, he had also given them a sense of security and belonging. The mice would no longer have to worry about finding shelter or food. They could now focus on building a community and enjoying their new life. He knew they had learned their lesson. The owl had taught the mice the importance of kindness and helping others. The mice had learned that they were not alone, and that there were always friends willing to lend a hand. They had also learned the value of gratitude and appreciation. The owl hoped that the mice would carry these lessons with them and continue to spread kindness and joy wherever they went. From that day on, the mice lived in the burrow under the old oak tree. They learned to find food in the forest, and they never went back to the farmer's house. The wise old owl continued to watch over them. He taught them many things about the forest. And the mice, they were never foolish again. The end.